Good night. Stuff falling all over the place. What's going on, guys and gals, out there in Uncle Jed land? We have got a lot going on. Got an auction coming up tonight. Want to remind everybody we are back. About 4 hours from auction time. 4 hours from auction time. Trying to get a lineup going. Hey Nick, trying to get a lineup going here. Got my shades on because my future's so bright. I have to wear shades. But hope everybody's doing good. Auction tonight. Tell your friends. Let everybody know that Uncle Jed will be on the air tonight. Remind all my Georgia friends to go out and vote tonight. Be sure to go out and vote. Runoff election down there is tonight. I mean today. Polls close at 7 o'clock. And I won't tell you who I'm rooting for in that race. But you probably already know. But I thought I'd pop on here and say hi to everybody. I'm fixing to pop over on Facebook too. Remind everybody about the auction tonight. Hey Rose Gill. And then I've got to do some computer work, paperwork, is what it used to be called. And then finish setting up the auction for tonight. Got to go to my daughter's Christmas concert last night. I did it. I streamed it live on Facebook as the seventh grade did a little 7th grade band done a little show, 8th grade band done a show, and then 7th and 8th grade choir done a nice performance. So got to really enjoy yourself out there. Good family time. Went to the mountains. Never, let me repeat this. Never stay at the Mountain View Inn, which says it's only 1,400 foot away from the island, which is true, a place that the girls like to go and the whole family likes to go. First of all, no parking. Very little parking for a motel that's probably 200 to 300 rooms. I'm going to say it's about, I think it's 7 floors. So yeah, never go there. The pictures on the internet, we stayed in the presidential suite. Pictures on the internet did not do it justice. Instead of paying $457 for 2 nights, we should have paid no more than $150 for both nights. That's how bad the rooms were, bad the service was. That's Mountain View Inn in Pigeon Forge on the Parkway. Never ever stay there. Just don't do it. It's awful. They don't bring you enough towels and washcloths. The water pressure is awful when you take a shower. The morning we left, I took my shower that morning and it was lukewarm water, and I hate that. I like my water being almost scalding hot. So I want to give them a big shout out. Never stay there, but nonetheless, we had a good time. Me and India and Ireland and Ruby and Rose. She got to go on one of her first trips with us to Pigeon Forge, and she really enjoyed herself. She was just like a big kid. They had walked up. I'd went in and took a nap because I'm getting old. They'd walked up to one of the $9.99 stores that was right above the motel, and they came back. And India had tried to use an old card, which we got her new bank cards, and we hadn't activated them yet. And she didn't. She had to come back, and then I walked up her later to pay for it. And I said, "How much was the items y'all was getting?" And Ruby wanted a hermit crab, and Harlan got a shirt, and Rose wanted a hoodie. And they all said $9.99. Rose was like, "I want the hoodie," and she's just like a big kid. So she's doing really, really well. She was enjoyed the trip. The girls enjoy having her around, and she's doing really, really well. So I'm proud of that fact right there. But we're going to, hey, Tim Anderson, Rose, and Nick. We've been open today, but it's been rainy and wet and not really cold, but here in Scottsville, just a miserable day to be out. It's just a depressing day. But I guess any day you're above 6 feet, you're doing good, doing real good. So I want to remind everybody, jump on here. You may be watching a recording of this, but I want to remind everybody that we will be on the air in 4 hours from now. 7 o'clock, we'll be on a little bit earlier. But Miss India will be doing the clerking. She got back to getting the shipping done and got all the shipping done, the folks that's paid, got all that done. And we found a package. I don't know if Susan Arrington's watching now, but I've got to apologize to her. We found a package somewhere or another in her transition that didn't get shipped out. And the problem with this package, it was a lot of Halloween stuff. So we got to try to get a hold of her and refund her money and see if she still wants any of this stuff. But Susan, if you're watching, hon, it was just your package was lost in the transition. Hey, Hidden, how's it going there, man? Ruby's little hermit crab that she got, I'll tell you all this, I'll tell you Hidden. I asked the guy that was behind the counter, I said, how long a lifespans these things got, like 2 or 3 days? He's like, they can't go 2 or 3 years. But he said more than likely, not very long. So Ruby's hermit crab, Kermit the Hermit, lasted 1 day. She came home from school yesterday, and poor little hermit had gave up the ghost and went to that upper room. Hey, Diva, how's it going? Down in Mississippi land. But once again, I'll tell everybody, if you ever go to Pigeon Forge Parkway, do not stay at the Mountain View Inn. The pictures on the internet looks all updated and everything, but it's a dump. It's a dump. And if I'd only paid a little bit for it, I probably would have minded it. But $225 a night. You expect something a little better and a little better service, and it was completely awful. But we took time and we enjoyed ourselves and got to cut up and got to eat out a little bit. Eat at Reagan's Pancake House, that buffet. Gosh, it was so good. That was one of my birthday wishes, to be able to eat there. And we stopped at Whataburgers on the way down there in Lebanon. And they've moved up north. They're in Lebanon, they're in Gallatin, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. They've moved up further north. And we stopped at Lebanon because it was on our way. And I enjoyed them Whataburgers so much. They were really, really good. But we got back Sunday, and India completed, got all the shipping, everything packaged up for you guys. And I just took everything to either the UPS store or UPS drop-off, which is Advance Auto, or the United States Postal Service. So got everybody's items out, got that all done, caught up with. And so we're just letting everybody know we'll be on tonight at 7. Now tomorrow night we're going to be on Facebook, and I want everybody that's on YouTube, you too, Hidden, to come on over to Facebook tomorrow night. And last Wednesday night it done really good. I was surprised because before it was so slow and the latency was so bad, and I guess they've redone some stuff to where it's not bad now at all. And it done really good, and we had a lot of local people, that some of the older folks that just don't like dealing with anything new, and I lost a lot of them when I went to YouTube, and they were coming back in droves on Wednesday night. So we're going to do another one tomorrow night on Facebook. And tonight, Diva, I'll just tell you, I done told India she need to get on up here, because you and George and a few others saved her auction Thursday night. Our auction was not going good at all, and I had new toys. I had all kind of different stuff. It wasn't going good at all, and that was on my birthday. And I said, pull out the jewelry. And that saved our auction. Thank you, Diva, George Clayton, and the others that bought jewelry, because it really did. And then I got to spend a little time with my grown kids that had came while India done the auctioning. So that really pulled out an auction for us. It really did. So India, I told her, I said, honey, I can't find the boxes of totes of jewelry for you to go through. And she said, here she comes. She said, honey, let me take care of that. So she's here to save the day, and she'll be going for some jewelry tonight. I'm gonna have other items up tonight, but India's gonna try to find the totes. There she is. There's my baby. She's gonna find the totes and stuff of that. I've got to do what they used to call paperwork. It's now computer work for the next hour or so. Trying to do some tax work, so I've got to do that here in a minute. But India's here, and I was just thanking Diva and George and all of them for saving the day on Thursday night with the jewelry.
Oh.
Because they all seen how the auction was going. It was not going, so we'll hit at it again tonight, and we'll have all kind of different stuff. I did find some of them nice toboggans I sold last year. I found some more of them. Hey, Terry Spitz, I did find some more. I guess
you got one of a different color too.
Yeah, one's a different color. The brown one's the real nice knitted ones I sold. It's that right time of year. I think I found some more gloves. So, hey, Gettysburg. And I'll tell everybody that we got back from our little birthday vacation. And Enid got everything packaged up, labeled, and I just took it about an hour or so ago to the post office in the United States, the parcel, UPS.
Hello.
So we've had the store open today. I've got Eric in here helping me. So that's it. We got a customer come in.
Yeah.
Oh. So I just want to tell everybody we will be on tonight at 7 o'clock. India will be here doing the clerking. Tracy has been sick. Everybody's been asking. She didn't want me to say much about it to nobody, but Tracy has been sick. Of course, she had her mother's, had that bad accident. She had to leave town and then came back, and then her uncle died. So a lot of things going on there. So that's why Tracy's not been clerking for everybody's been asking. Plus, we had her clerking because India was out. Tracy usually runs her dollar shed for us, and we just had her taking India's place for a while. And now that India's back, we don't need two clerks over there. So everybody that's been asking, that's the reason.
Plus, I plan on taking over shipping. The only way to do that is to clerk.
Yeah.
So you know what you're selling, you know
Yeah,
what's going to who and so forth.
India's doing all the shipping now again, and she, you have to actually. Yeah, we shipped yours, I think, Gettysburg, didn't we, Mama? Rich Lalino.
Pretty
If
sure.
he paid, yeah, you shipped. He just wanted to know if he had enough to ship.
List. Yep.
We did, Rich, and also Bill Horvath. You'd had one from last week that it was in Squire, so I have to check Squire out to see who's paid in there to get them shipped. So everybody that's paid is shipped. Even there was one, I think it was Deborah Reed, that only had $5. Oh, he's not paid yet, Mama.
Then he's not in the list.
Oh,
He's
then
not in
yours
the
didn't
list.
get shipped, Rich.
Him and Cameron are not shipped yet.
Two, you and
Yep.
Kim. I'm sorry, I would have had her go ahead and ship it, Rich. I didn't.
I would have.
I just told her that go down through PayPal and who's paid and Square who's paid to ship them. So I would have went ahead
And
and
I gotta
shipped.
get Deborah.
I would have went ahead and
It's only
shipped.
one little item.
Oh, Deborah too.
Yeah.
I think we ought to wait on Deborah's.
It's only a $5 item. Shipping's gonna cost more than what she paid for the thing.
Yeah, I think we'll tell Deborah we'll wait on hers. How much did Rich have? We may wait on his till the end of the week.
Oh, I'll have to go back and find.
Let me see Rich's. Let me check out Rich. We may just wait, brother. Coloring book, desk organizer set, wheel
Magnets.
winner, magnet dinosaur, top cat red clock. Yeah, usually you would actually had enough to ship because you got a $10 wheel winner.
If you want it shipped, I'll ship it.
But we'll probably no. We can wait, and I've charged you $12.99 shipping on that, which would have been about right with that clock and everything. So if you want to wait till like the end of this week, then I'll take that $12.99 into consideration on what you buy this week, and it won't be as much shipping. So if you want us to wait, he said good, didn't want to ship till got more items. So we will wait on yours, and I'm going to wait on Deborah's too because it's a $5 item.
Yeah.
But everybody else has got shipped out. Hope y'all have had a good day, and for you folks living in just whenever Gettysburg, be fine. Everybody that's living in Georgia, be sure to go out and vote. And I'm not going to tell you which one of the senators to vote for, but you probably know who I'm going to tell you if I did tell you. It's very important that they had a lot of early voting. They broke a record with early voting. So it's imperative that people get out and vote in person today to offset some of that early voting that they had. We're hoping our guy wins. It's a lot of ramifications in the Senate if he doesn't. So they've got sort of a shared plan when it's 50-50, which I like that. So I do want Herschel Walker to win. So it could be that 50-50 split, and they've sort of got a shared thing in the Senate and makes it a little more nonpartisan. I know what you mean, Gettysburg, especially where you live and who you guys elected. Not you, but you guys. And I really didn't like the other candidate either, but I guess he was the lesser of two evils. And that's more likely, nowadays, that's what we choose. 9 out of 10 times, whenever we're voting for anybody, we're left up to choose and it shouldn't be like that. We're left up to choose the lesser of two evils.
Who are you?
And if we don't vote, then we ain't got no reason to complain, but we have to vote for the lesser of two evils, which I don't like doing that, but sometimes you have no choice. Your voice will be heard, but 9 out of 10 times, even in the president's race, Senate race, representative, local races, we're usually voting for the lesser of two evils. And that ain't the way it ought to be. I think there ought to be more term limits, especially with the Senate and the House of Representatives, governor races. There's a term limit for president, just 8 years, 2 terms. And I don't know that ought not be shortened for 4 years. But there's people in our town that's been sitting on city council for over 40 years. There's people in the House of Representatives been there over 40 years, Senate same way. So I think I'm a big fan of term limits to get fresh ideas, fresh faces in there. And then they're actually in there working for the people and not to get reelected. We're actually working, I've got 6 years to get this done. I've got a term limit. Or 8 years, whatever. So I ain't worried about getting reelected. I'm gonna work for the people, because when they get in there now, they're already thinking about that next election. Exactly. You're exactly right, Diva. They're worried about getting reelected. From the time they get elected, they're already thinking about how can I get reelected, instead of how can I help my constituents, how can I help the people back home, how can I help the entirety of the whole base from across the United States, how can I help? I may have to compromise here to get this done. And I see no compromise on either side. I see a divided nation. They won't give 1 inch either way, the right or the left. And our nation is divided probably as much as during the time of the Civil War. Our nation is that divided. We've not come to arms yet or anything like that, and I hope we don't. But our nation is as divided as it was during the Civil War. You got one side believing this and one side believing that on several different fronts, several different issues, and they won't budge 1 inch. And our leaders won't budge 1 inch because they're afraid their base won't vote for them. And I'd love to see our nation come back together like we did during 9/11. We forgot about what letter was outside our name, RD. We forgot about what color we were. We forgot about being rich or poor. When all those thousands of people were killed, our nation came together. We didn't worry about this issue or that issue. And I'd love to see that type atmosphere, not with something like that taking place, but that type of atmosphere once again in the United States of America. We're never going to agree on everything. That's like we had a protest here in Bowling Green the other day because the case down in Mississippi where I don't know if Diva's even close to where Emmett Till was tortured and murdered, but they found an old arrest warrant for the wife, and she lives in Bowling Green about 20 miles down the road here. She's 89 years old. She's in hospice, dying of cancer. But they protested. They wanted them to serve that old warrant from 1955, 60 years ago, and have this old woman put in jail. Okay? And that's just more divisiveness. You know, do you know that don't know the story? Emmett Till was a 14-year-old African American that came down from Chicago to visit his uncle, who was a preacher down in Mississippi. And they had fun, they swam and did all these things, and he had a right being down it, but he was from up north where they'd done things a lot differently back in that time period. And so what happened is they went to a store, and while in the store, the boys got what they needed and got out of there. But when the woman that owned the store, her and her husband, stepped out on the front porch, the young man, 14-year-old, whistled at her, done a wolf whistle, like that. And the other boys were scared to death because they knew what would happen. So they grabbed him and they took off in their car, and it was getting close to night, and there was a car behind them, so they pulled over the side of the road and ran off in the field and hid, but it was just somebody else passing by with nobody following them. So 2 or 3 days went by and nothing happened. But this woman's husband was out of town getting a load of shrimp or something. And the woman didn't tell her husband that this young man whistled at her. She did not tell him that. Somebody that was in the store at the time told him. He got irate at the wife for not telling him about this. Okay? The lies that she told came later on during the trial. So going back to him and his brother went to Moses' house where the little Till boy was staying, and they went in and brought him out to their car, and they said that some of the people that was at the house said there was a soft voice that said, that's him. And they figured that was the wife, okay? So they took this boy and they tortured him, and what they had planned to do to start with was just teach him a lesson. But this young boy, in which I'm proud for him, he said, you guys ain't no better than I am. He called him a few choice words. And it made him more irate, and they wound up killing him, torturing him, weighting him down and throwing him in the river. Awful, just an awful thing they done. So when the trial took place, this wife testified, and this is where the lies came in. She wasn't allowed to testify in front of the jury. The judge ruled it inadmissible, but she was allowed to testify because the husband and his brother's lawyer was afraid if they did get convicted on appeal, with her telling what she told might make it a little easier to get a overturned verdict. So she did tell that the boy grabbed her wrist and that he grabbed her waist during trial, but this was after the fact. And getting back to the story, now she's 89 years old, and all the news media is saying that she falsely accused this boy, made her husband, jealous husband, kill this boy. That's not true. She didn't even tell him. I guess she was even afraid to because he was a very abusive husband. Anyway, all white male jury found both men not guilty and as guilty as sin. And they, I think it was a couple years later, did an interview with Look magazine because of the double jeopardy law. They couldn't be tried twice for this murder. They told that they did kill the boy, and they told the part where I was telling you about they was just going to teach him a lesson at first, but then they became irate. They told all this to Look magazine, that they did murder this boy. And this is down south in Mississippi. And the arrest warrant that they found that brought all this back up, that they found in a basement, was for kidnapping charges. It had the husband, the brother, and the wife's name on there for kidnapping. 2 months after they got acquitted from the trial, found not guilty, they had the kidnapping thing brought before the grand jury, and they found them not guilty, or didn't have enough evidence to turn in a true verdict to indict them for kidnapping, which they had admitted kidnapping the boy already, so I don't know how that wasn't right either. But the same arrest warrant was the kidnapping charges, so when they didn't turn an indictment against these people, they didn't turn an indictment against the woman, so the warrant is nothing. But they're calling for this older woman to be put in jail. Like I said, 89 years old. And she told, later on she divorced the man, she told in interviews that, told in an interview that he was a very abusive man, so I'll say he coerced her into telling the story during that. But she never did say nothing. She didn't accuse the boy of anything. It was somebody that was in the store that day. And I'm so tired of people, the media, not putting the facts out there. This woman was a part of that time period where women was second class too. She was scared of him. She probably would have been beat too. Even if she had told him about the whistles, she probably got beat too. And she was coerced into lying and stuff. Anyway, the guy died in 80-something. The brother died in 70-something. And this woman is the only one that's alive, and they're wanting her to get justice that way. And when she was a victim also. And don't let them think about that. And that's why our nation is divided right now. And what those men did, I mean, they should have been strung up. As soon as they done that, look, I don't care about double jeopardy. They should have been strung up right then. It should have been took care of when they told what they done to this 14-year-old boy, because this 14-year-old boy had to be shipped home to his mama in Chicago. I think it was Chicago. And they was going to do a closed casket. She said, you're going to let everybody see. You're going to, no, she was in Bowling Green the other day at an apartment. Well, she may have moved. She's had to sort of move her whole life. But the mama said, no, you're going to let the world see. And so they, in Jet Magazine, they took pictures of the boy, and he was all bloated and just beat, and it was just an awful picture. And this mama had to look at her 14-year-old. Yes, that's another thing right there of how one-sided these people were. And if anybody needs justice, if any of those 12 jurors are still alive that sat on that drawer and found them not guilty, they should be charged with some kind of hate crime or something. But everybody's dead, and except for this woman. And like I said, she was a victim herself, because women back then, you didn't backtalk your husband. They would bust you in the mouth. A lot of them would, and women were second-class citizens too. So I was on the sort of the opposite side of the story, because I think they would leave her alone. She had to live with this guy until they got divorced, knowing the horrendous thing that they did to this 14-year-old boy. And that Emmett Till's mother, she went on. I'll tell you something else too. Emmett Till's mother did a lot of speaking after that to try to bring justice not only to her son, but to keep things like that from happening in the future. But the NAACP that was getting her to do all these speaking engagements, one of her handlers said, she's not working now. She needs to have some kind of money for this. Thank you, Jay. She's got to have money for this. And they said, oh, no, we can't pay her. And they're making all this money going to all these different colleges and speaking arrangements from Emmett Till's mother, and they don't want to give her no money. So she finally stopped doing it because they said, oh, they'll say you're making money off your son's tragedy. Well, she needed money. She wasn't working. She was doing all these different things. And you know, when Martin Luther King gave his speech, she was invited to give the speech the same day as he did, but her mother hid the invitation from her because she said she definitely would have went. This is just an awful, awful situation that happened hundreds of times in our past. And what I think about now is the now. In Chicago alone, in the inner cities, this year over 600 people were killed. Several teenagers. One 14-year-old little girl standing on her front lawn with her daddy, gunned down for no reason. Those are the people that needs justice, because I know their mama are having to live in these same areas. That's the areas that we need to try to help with. That's the areas that we need to protest to help these people out. Try to get them out of these places that they're living where it's just took over by drug lords and gangs and stuff. And little kids can't stand out in their front yard without them worrying about being gunned down by a drive-by shooting or a stray bullet hitting them. And I thought the other day, they're protesting this and it's not going to do anything. We can't change the past, but we can sure help the present right now. And this is happening 1,000 times throughout the months in different inner cities. And it's the African American population that's being hurt. And if I had the funds and everything, yes, I seen that. I told the girls the other day, you can't even trust FedEx, and that was a FedEx contract worker, but still was a trusted person. You trust FedEx, you trust UPS, you trust the mailman, but you can't trust nobody nowadays. What Diva's talking about, a 2-year-old girl kidnapped and killed by somebody that's been delivering packages at their house for several months. And this nation is becoming so divided and so softened against crime. I don't know what we're going to do. We need to quit fighting against each other and start fighting the bad guys, the people that do stuff like that, the people that kill in Chicago, the people that kill in Lexington and Louisville almost on a daily basis. We need to have some way to fight against these bad guys and fight against that evil, and quit fighting. We're too busy fighting against each other. And we live in a country right now, I know there's racist pockets in all places in the United States, but it's not like it was when me and Diva was growing up. And you know, and they have for decades horrible things, but the day and hour that we're living in right now, with mothers killing their children, daddies killing their mom and their kids. When I was growing up in Gettysburg, we had news back then, and that would have been a big news story, something like that happening. You remember when the mama took the 2 kids and put them in a car seat and pushed her car off in the river, and then said that she was robbed by somebody. Tried to blame it on a black person right then, and found out later she'd done it herself because she wanted to leave her husband and go with her boyfriend or something like that. But that was several years ago. We heard about that in Gettysburg several years ago. Something like that happened, a dad killing his whole family. That would have been on Walter Cronkite's evening news, for sure. It's just so predominant now. The inner city crime. Well, back then they would move in these areas, and it was an uplift for them. You know, getting to move in their own nice apartment and nice neighborhood, and then just crimes took it over Gettysburg. I mean, anybody, you know, whether they was Hispanics or African Americans or poor white people, getting to move from wherever they were living into a nice apartment and things, it was a big thrill for them. And now they're trapped, and nobody's doing nothing about it. Nobody. Nobody's. And we were fortunate here in Scottsville. We didn't have segregation. Hey, Nancy, we didn't have segregation here in Scottsville. Our schools were segregated or integrated. Sorry. I remember Reggie Soles, my best friend, from kindergarten on up to when the schools consolidated up to the 5th grade. We weren't segregated. We was integrated. I can't remember, and I'm sure it happened here, but I can't remember there being a separate place for black people to eat or to drink from a fountain. I can't remember none of that here in our town. So I'm proud of Scottsville that we've got a heritage and a history that a lot of that stuff, I know some of it took place. I can remember KKK being out here on the square when I was a kid, and I was scared of them. They'll burn a cross in your yard and all that stuff. So I can remember that taking place, but very seldom. And most of the time, everybody got along. Like I said, I was naive, and probably a lot more of that happened than what I'd like to believe. But I'm sort of proud of Scottsville that our history, at least back, in the '60s, that we didn't have that type of history. And I'm sort of proud of the fact that we had enough people that knew that all humans are created equal. And if you work hard, do the right thing, no matter where you're from, that you're going to get ahead in life, and you give them that opportunity to get ahead. But we'll be back on tonight at 7 o'clock. Just want to jump on here and talk to you guys. Hey, Jay from the Cave, be on tonight. And we're going to have some fun tonight at 7 o'clock. India's going to be going through some jewelry. We may need it to say the auction again tonight. She needs to give me a haircut. I'm getting old. See that old white hair back there? Lordy, I'm getting old. I'm over the hill, guys. And I've been telling everybody my goodbyes because I'm 60 years old now, and tell them I won't be long till I'm in that upper room. So I've been making sure I tell everybody my goodbyes and stuff. And I just feel like it won't be long now. I'm 60 years old and I'm heading downhill. We're doing well, Nancy. Hey, Danae, we're doing really well. I'm just trying to, in my little way, get our nation to come back together. Maybe I'll start a blog. What is a blog? Is where you get on here and talk? Is that what it is, Jay? Maybe I'll start a blog sometime on YouTube to discuss things going on in our nation, and maybe it'll help bring people together and start to love people once again, love one another. But I'm gonna get off here. Everybody tune in tonight. Get your wallets out. Uncle Jed needs the money. First of the month, all the bills are due. So get your wallets out tonight. And do you guys want to see some Christmas items tonight, some toys? Are you guys ready to do some Christmas shopping tonight so we can get it to you before Christmas? Because we'll pull out toys if you want us to. We've got plenty of them. And we've got other Christmas items. You guys, what do you guys want to see tonight? All right, Ginsburg, that'd be $10, buddy, that I ain't got right now. By George. So whatever you guys want to see tonight, I'll try to get it lined up here. Like I said, I got about an hour's work I got to do on the computer, some business work. Now, Gettysburg, I can't promise. I'm old. I'm 60 years old. I can't promise I'll stay in a good mood. Old people get ill sometime. You may be in a bad one. You ain't 60 yet, though, Gettysburg, I don't think. I'm 60 years old, and I may take a nap before the auction. Ain't that what old people do? I remember used to watch my daddy and my Mammy Whitney. They sat in a chair and start watching TV, and they'd be asleep. I think, man, oh, good night, Gettysburg. But they'd go to sleep. And I think, man, what are they doing going to sleep middle of the day? And now I can sit down in the recliner at home, start watching a movie, and I'm like this. So I'm getting old, guys. I'm old. Gettysburg Rich, tell me this. Somebody told me that the 60s went by really slow. My sister did, Kathy. She's 65 or 6. But she said the 60s go by really slow. Is that true? That's right, Gettysburg. Is that true, though, that the 60s drag by? Because the 50s were a blur. I don't remember nothing that happened in the 50s. Good night. But I'm hoping the 60s drag by. Because it seemed like the 40s and the 50s, they just flew by. Bam, bam. Where'd they go? But my sister said that the 60s have been dragging for her. So I hope that's true. That, the 60s seem a lot longer than. But anyway, anybody want to see any certain things? I know jewelry for one. Do y'all want some of the? I know it, and I'll tell y'all something. I'm 2 years away from where I can start drawing part of my Social Security. I got a thing in the mail that said I would draw, and they've moved the full retirement age to us people that was born 62 and after, I think, to 70 years old. So I would draw like $1,800 a month if I waited till I'm 70. But if I start drawing at 62, I'm not going to draw but $800 a month. So I'm probably going to start drawing at 62. But I've got an ace up my sleeve. Ruby won't be but, how old's Ruby now, 12?
Mm-hmm.
She won't be but 14 when I turn 62. So Ruby's going to get some Social Security too until she turns 18. So I sort of got an ace in the hole. I'll get part of my money back anyway that we paid in all these years. Like old times, Indy doing all the work and Jed vocalizing. You got it, baby. Ain't that right, baby?
Yes, sir.
See what? Hey, see how women's supposed to treat their man? Did you see what she said? She said, "Yes, sir." Where'd she go? I don't know where she went. She's behind me. I gotta watch. But anyway, we had a great time in Pigeon Forge. Indy and the girls and myself. We had a great time, except for the motel room. It was awful. Don't stay at the Mountain View Inn, Pigeon Forge, Parkway Drive there. Do not stay at that. It's awful. Avoid it at all cost. I'm really mean that too. And I usually don't do that to a business. Kim Veazey, I'm pretty sure that's what she was doing. She teases me a lot. She calls me an old man and says she's going to put me in a nursing home one day. No. Indy never would do that to me unless I was just gone crazy or something. I'll tell y'all what, when I get sick, Mama takes care of me. I'll be laying in bed. She'll say, "You need any Tylenol? You need any NyQuil? You need me to check your temperature? You need any Gatorade or anything like that?" When I'm sick, she does. And the girls do too. Because Veazey's a lot easier to say than Leilino. It is. It really is. There's somebody else that I butcher their name. Larry Gabogas? Galagas? Something like that. Anyway. All right, I got to get off here. Eric's waiting on me to tell him what to do. Did you straighten up over there?
Yeah.
I'm going to go over and see how you did now. I'm old now. Gettysburg Grit said I could be ill. Anyway, I'm still smoke free, guys. Been over 2 years now. And I told India the other night, about 4 or 5 nights ago, I like my bourbon, okay? And I don't know why. I'm not a big drinker. Don't throw fits, get drunk. I like staying sort of my mind where it needs to be because I've got young kids and stuff, and I don't want something happening and me not be able to do it. But I told her the other night, I said, I really don't even like the taste of it, really. And, I drink a mixed drink at night sometimes, never during the daytime. And I said, I'm just tired of that. I don't even want that no more. So I told her I was done with any type alcohol. Not that there's anything wrong with having a social drink. I just told her I was done with it for right now. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't enrich my life. Used to, it was sort of a stress relief, but now it's more of a you drink a mixed drink, and then you wake up 2 hours later and you're like, why'd I even do that? So I told her, I said, I'm done with it. We had a few bottles of bourbon at the house. I said, you can finish them off whenever you want to. I'm just done with it. So not drinking, not smoking, and I quit chasing women. So I was right a while ago. I'm about dead. I'm going to that upper room, guys. Anyway, bada doom. The Ruby's concert, Christmas concert, her in the 7th and 8th grade, and their band directors and choir directors done a great job with the Christmas concert last night. I streamed it live on Facebook if you want to watch it. They done a very, very, very good job. We enjoyed that family time with little Ruby. I told her, I said, honey, we can't go to your Christmas concert, and she's in percussion, the percussion part of it. She's the next Ringo Starr. But I told her we couldn't go to it because we had an auction, which I was messing with her. And she said, but why, Daddy? And I said, I'm kidding, honey. I'll be there with bells on. And she said, you almost made me cry, Daddy. I said, I was just kidding, honey. I'll be there with bells on. I said, matter of fact, I think I got some bells I'll wear. And she said, Daddy, you can't wear bells because I'm ringing a bell. All right, guys. See y'all tonight at 7 o'clock. Yeah, she does the bells, the xylophone, the big drum where you hit it, and that's what she was doing last night. Boom, boom. But she's going to get into all the drumming part. India's got a set of drums that she's going to set up for her. She's the one that's musically inclined out of all my children. She loves anything musical, and December 20th we've got to go back to Louisville for her thing about getting rods put in. So y'all say a prayer for that, because it just kills me. And the only reason I'm probably going to get this done is he said later on in life, with her having that 70 degrees up at the top, it could start affecting her lungs and her heart. And I didn't want her going through that later on in life. So he said, we're going to, if it's not no more than 70 degrees, we'll kick it up back another 3 months and try to get it to where she's out of school. He said, then she'll come up here and we'll have one surgery on Monday where they go in and loosen something. And then, like on a Monday, then on Wednesday, we'll go in and put the rods in. We want to let her finish growing because her growth plates down here where it showed she was still growing some. So I just can't imagine having to go through 2 surgeries with my little skinny Ruby. And I may have to drink. I may have to go back to drinking then, because I'll be so nervous and worried about her. Even when Ireland's terrified of the dentist, and when she gets her teeth clean, deep clean, she has to be put to sleep, and that even worries me. So I'm a worrywart, guys. Anyway, God bless you guys. Love y'all.